Recording in progress.
Stay or like to request please come. The capacity to learn is a gift. The ability to learn is a skill. The willingness to learn is a choice. With this quote, I would like to start this session. So before starting with anything, we'll start with the invocations because every great moment of God can be traced to a meaning. So now I call upon Shishma to commence us with the invocation song.
O Devi Sharadaye, ವಂದಿಸುವೆ ನಿನಗೆ. O Devi Sharadaye, ವಂದಿಸುವೆ ನಿನಗೆ. ಆದಿಶಕ್ತಿಯು ನೀನು ಸಕಲ ಕಲೆಗಳಿಗೆ. O Devi Sharadaye, ವಂದಿಸುವೆ ನಿನಗೆ. ವರದ ಶಾರದೆಯೆಂದು ಹೇಳುವರು ಇಲ್ಲ. ವರದ ಶಾರದೆಯೆಂದು ಹೇಳುವರು ಇಲ್ಲ. ಪರವೈದ್ಯ ಬುದ್ಧಿಯನು ಇತ್ತು ಸಲಹಮ್ಮ. ಓ ದೇವಿ ಶಾರದೆಯೇ, ವಂದಿಸುವೆ ನಿನಗೆ. ಕರದಲ್ಲಿ ವೀಣೆಯನು ಶ್ರುತಿ ಮಾಡಿ ನುಡಿಸುತ್ತಿಹೆ. ಕರದಲ್ಲಿ ವೀಣೆಯನು ಶ್ರುತಿ ಮಾಡಿ ನುಡಿಸುತ್ತಿಹೆ. ಶ್ವೇತಾಂಬರಧಾರೆ ಶಾರದೆಗೆ ವಂದಿಸುವೆ. ಶ್ವೇತಾಂಬರಧಾರೆ ಶಾರದೆಗೆ ವಂದಿಸುವೆ. ಓ ದೇವಿ ಶಾರದೆಯೇ, ವಂದಿಸುವೆ ನಿನಗೆ. ಓ ದೇವಿ ಶಾರದೆಯೇ, ವಂದಿಸುವೆ ನಿನಗೆ.
Thank you, Shishma. Now I would like to welcome Professor Upon Dixit for being in this session. I welcome you, sir. I would also like to welcome our director, Dr. V.M. Puri, sir. I welcome you, sir. I also like to welcome our director of academics, Dr. Ramanand Kulkarni, sir. I welcome you, sir. I would also like to welcome one of the assistant professor of our college, Dr. FDP, sir. I welcome you, sir. I would also like to welcome all the corporates, lecturers, and research scholars. I welcome you all. I would also like to welcome the faculties of CBS and my roommates. I welcome you all. So with this welcome, now proceeding further, I would like to request Sadaf to please come over and introduce our today's chief guest, Dixit.
Thank you, Kalyan. Professor Dixit, sir, is a properly case writer in management subject of international status. He has mastered the art of case writing and teaching using his cases. His cases have been published both in national and international journals. To his credit, he has over 100 of cases on various subjects in management areas. Sir has MA in Economics from Karnataka University, Dharwad, and PhD from IIT Kanpur. Sir began his career with HMT in Corporate Planning Development. He joined IIM Ahmedabad in 1981 and served the institution with great distinction up to 2016 in business policy area. After retirement, Sir has kept himself active in management profession. He is an independent researcher and facilitator. Today's FDP on case writing on beginners is a result of his consistent coaching to the resource person for today for the last 2 years. It is matter of great privilege and honor to introduce Professor Mukund Dixit, sir. Thank you, sir. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir. The mind is like a plant. You need to water it in order for it to grow. So my request all the dignitaries on the rise to please water the plant.
So some of the delegates please come join us for this. Yes, hello. Prashant, please. Come.
No, I can't.
Prashant, be part of Prashant, you can do.
Yeah, I'll come back there.
Thank you all. Now I would like to request our today's chief guest, Professor Mukund Dixit sir, to address this. So,
Wait, shall I start? Am I audible?
yes,
Yeah, just confirm by voice vote that I'm audible.
You're audible, sir.
Yeah, very much. audible.
Okay. Well, good morning. Very good morning to you, and welcome to this wonderful initiative of Chetan Business School. In fact, when we talk about Chetan Business School, we can't expect anything less than a pioneering initiative like this in this region of North Karnataka. In fact, it has been a pleasure for me to be associated with Chetan Business School in one format or the other whenever I'm in my hometown, Dharwad. And they have been taking wonderful initiatives to develop competencies in the management and practitioner fraternity. So this is another interesting initiative of Chetan Business School. Welcome to this initiative on behalf of the fraternity of management of case teachers across the world. In fact, when I say across the world, it has a very significant connotation. That is, we are now celebrating the completion of the 100th year of case writing in the world. In fact, when we talked about case method and case writing, the school that comes to our mind is the pioneering school, Harvard Business School. The first case was written in 1921 on a shoe company. And that case is still being taught somewhere or the other in the world. So that shoe company case has lasted for 100 years. And based on the inspiration provided by that case writing effort, in May 1922, Harvard Business School adopted case method as the dominant instruction in their business school. In fact, later, many business schools adopted that method. And as a result, we are celebrating the completion of 100 years of a pioneering initiative, 100 years of an innovation in the pedagogy of management education. That's very interesting for us. And you are a part of that celebration. In fact, Chetan Business School, with all its energy, has made you a part of the generation that is celebrating the success of this method of instruction over 100 years. There are very few organizations or very few products that have lasted in the world for more than a century. Here is a product that has lasted in the world for a century, and I'm sure it's going to last longer than that. Now, the case method of learning came to India through the collaboration the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, had in 1961. In 1961, IIM Ahmedabad collaborated with the Harvard Business School and brought this method. And when it brought this method, several other business schools adopted it. Therefore, we have the following generations. The first generation that learned the method way back in 1922, and the next generation that learned the method way back in 1961, and the generation that learned the method later. And you're going to be, in a way, the fourth generation that's going to take the initiative of case writing and case teaching forward. Therefore, you have, in a way, inherited the legacy of your great-grandfather, the grandfather, and the father, or great-grandmother, the grandmother, and the mother, as far as today's initiative is concerned. And welcome to this initiative, and congratulations. The another reason why this initiative has come at the right time is the impact of this pandemic called the pandemic of coronavirus. Now, per se, virus is not palatable, or for that matter, is not something nice to talk about. But these dark shadows of the coronavirus made organizations in the world, whether it is in US or in India or China or Japan, to rethink the way they manage themselves. So coronavirus pandemic was a kind of a call to rethink, re-energize, reorganize activities to survive and grow when there is a disruption which was unanticipated. Now, it is this disruption which challenged the way the education itself was being managed. So we're all very happy with classroom education. Lo and behold, within a week, we were asked to go online, and we learned it. So therefore, this is also the period where significant innovation, experimentation, and learning has happened in business schools. It's not that significant learning has happened in business schools only, it has also happened in organizations across the world and organizations across various types of sectors and subsectors. Now, the thing that comes in is now the dark shadows of the virus are receding. There are signs that we'll all start all over again our wonderful activities. So when we come out, the demand now of the graduates who are going to be with us in the years to come is build the kind of resiliency that you demonstrated. Therefore, there is a kind of a new demand for new learning resources, new ways of handling those learning resources, and new way of building skills. And we, as the fraternity of management teachers, should respond to this. So organizations are willing to welcome us, and we should rise to the occasion to enter these organizations which were disrupted, which were challenged, and which stood the test of time, innovated, experimented, and survived, and they are now growing. In fact, some companies have grown at 360, 340 times. So that is an interesting opportunity waiting for us in case we respond. And this initiative of Chetan Business School has created an opportunity where you can build the necessary skills and respond to these new opportunities and challenges of your business school and of the organizations. And the third dimension, which also makes this timing very opportune, is the demand for regional and local cases. In fact, as the management education spread across the world, and as management education became popular, and as management education became also lucrative, giving you wonderful jobs, schools came up all across the world. So we have international schools, the Harvard Business School, the Wharton School, and the aspiring schools like the IIM Ahmedabad who want to be international schools, and the national schools. And in fact, IIMs continue to be national schools with some private schools added to the list. And there are regional schools. Now, all these schools have adopted the case method of learning. Now, the question that arises is, since the profiles of the participants of these schools are different, should we use the same case? Should we use the same case that is being used in the Harvard Business School? So let's say Ford Motor Company or Starbucks or General Electric, or should we create opportunities whereby the students of different management schools relate themselves to cases written in different contexts? Like, for example, there is an ice cream company called Ben and Jerry that may not make sense to the students of Chetan Business School, when the hunger of the students of Chetan Business School is to relate to a local ice cream company like Aditya. A Walmart may not make sense, but a case written by Professor Kulkarni on Gajanan stores may make sense. The students would be able to get involved better in the processes required to respond to the challenges of these decision makers in these regional organizations. So therefore, there's a need for regional cases. And we as business schools located in various regions cannot wait for and should not wait for the international professors to come to Hubli and go to Gadag and write cases. In fact, they have made efforts. Like, for example, the Bombay Dabbawala had been there well before the Harvard Business School wrote its case on Bombay Dabbawala. Or Lijjat Papad as an organization existed well before IIMA wrote a case. Or an ice cream company called Arun Ice Cream existed well before an IIMA wrote a case. But we needed the regional schools to take that initiatives. And if they had taken the initiatives, the number of cases on organizations in their region would have been much higher than what they are today. So therefore, here is an opportunity where you can relate to your own organizations in your own regions and develop cases which are of international class. Now, our own initiative in Chetan Business School has demonstrated that it is possible to write cases on organizations located in smaller regions without losing or without sacrificing the demand for international quality. So therefore, it's possible to develop international quality cases using the opportunities provided by regional organizations, neighborhood organizations. In fact, my own initiative shows that a case written on an organization in a small region gets taught across the world. So the learning value is as good. So therefore, here is an initiative taken by the Chetan Business School to equip you with the required skills to identify opportunities in your own region, to write cases, respond to those opportunities, document them, and publish cases in international journals. It is possible. In fact, the message I expect this workshop to deliver all through is it's possible to rise to international quality standards even while working on regional organizations. Now, with this kind of a setting, in fact, my colleagues, Professor Kulkarni and Professor Pulli, have put together a wonderful schedule, and they'll take you through the concept of the case, the stages in case writing, and make you as rich as possible. And Professor Kulkarni will explain the way you develop cash in this particular workshop. So It's a great effort from your side. They have put in the best method. The method is all about being active all through. And I'm sure they'll keep you very, very active. And the workshop would so end by 2:30 or so with a wonderful lunch. But that does not mean that you should get down from the train. When you're committed yourself to a wonderful journey to learn, to practice, and learn to practice again this case method of learning, case method of teaching, which requires that you write cases. So the case method has the facilitator, the instructor, the participant, and the instrument called the case. So today they'll help you get into the concept of the case and the nuances of case writing. Don't get down from the train after the first station arrives. Continue the journey, because this journey is very, very exciting. And the more you commit yourself, the greater are the dividends, greater are the fruits that you would enjoy. They have wonderful opportunities for national and international recognition, not only as a management teacher, but also as a management researcher. So my appeal to you is build beyond curiosity. And some of you may have joined the workshop more to satisfy your curiosity. Now, what is this case? What do these management school people do when they write cases or when they teach cases? But please, please, please don't stop with the satisfaction of curiosity. Please build beyond curiosity and commit yourself. Commit yourself to the journey of case writing. Go all the way from harnessing the opportunities and publishing your cases. All the best from my side, and congratulations to you all for being a part of this exciting journey, and congratulations to Professor Korvi and his team for putting this initiative together. In fact, Professor Korvi is always enthusiastic to bring some interesting new initiative through the instrument of Chetan Business School. This is another excellent initiative. All the best. And from my side, do well, commit yourself, write cases. I wait for that news when Professor Kulkarni sends me a mail saying that we have written 40 cases as an outcome of this particular workshop, and we are willing to write more. All the best, and back to you.
Thank you so much, sir, for interacting us with the writing of cases analysis. As scientists advise, learning never stops in learning. The person who always learns always stays in, and the person who stops learning will be you, no matter he's in 20s or 80s. Thank you, sir. And now I'd like to request our director, Dr. V.M. Korvi, sir, to please address the event.
A very good morning to all of you. Professor Mukund Dixit, former professor, I am Ahmedabad, and my own colleague, Dr. Ramakant, Principal Director Academics of our institution, and also resource person for today's event. And another colleague of mine, Professor Uli, and all the invitees and representatives of the corporates, Vijay Desai, Prashant Mane, Prakash Edavati, and the faculty members of the various institutions of this part of the state, and my own colleagues and my student friends. So at the outset, rightly said by Professor Dixit, he is always, guiding line. So whenever we have any academic query, always is there to support us, is there to guide us. In fact, when we wanted to have this case study workshop for our faculty, yes, he definitely said with one commitment, yes, when I'm going to complete this case study workshop, you all have to come up with a case study, right up. So that is how, under these eminent guidance, our colleagues, Professor Huli, Professor Chetty, Professor Ramakant, and all of us put together. In fact, we had one theme. Out of that, we could produce about 6 cases. So the case, again, the perception from where we are going to look at. That way, as The gone are the days where only the classroom teaching was happening. Then understanding something about case methodology, using the cases in the classroom. But now we've gone one step ahead, creating our own cases and dealing them in a class. So that is through this case writing. In fact, I would be, as rightly said by Professor Dikshit, at the end of this session and maybe 1 month down the lane, where be it a small case or big case, we are eagerly looking forward to see 40 plus cases are coming out of this workshop. So that is the kind of the commitment that we should give for today's workshop. That is really going to be a takeaway for all of you participating in this particular program. So be it a small case, let us start with that. And at the same time, today my humble request to the people from corporate. So you give us a food for thought. So anything that you come across, you just share with any of our colleagues and the participants of today's event. Yes, we are there. So let us make a case and take it to the students. Because ultimately students need an exposure for the real facts happening in the industry. So sometimes we get a food for thought, we can create a cases on our own, or else sometimes many situations what the corporates are facing in the industry is definitely we can go to them, have an interaction, take valuable inputs from them and create a cases and bring them in our classes. And at the same time, cases, once you prepare, keep it for yourself. At the same time, ask others also to use it. So it's not our property. Only till preparation it's our property. Once it is prepared, it's the property of the society. Let anybody make use of it, and definitely. So the same case, when you look at the different time, different perception, the perception would be different. So depending upon the situation, there are a couple of cases which can be used in 3 to 4 subjects. So perception. So some cases can be used in marketing, finance, principles of management, from the different part, different perception. Definitely we can take it in a different subjects. That is how the students can be given an opportunity to make use of the case study methodology. So that is how today's workshop, when my colleagues Professor Ramakant and Huli have come out with a proposal, would like to conduct this. Yes, I readily accept it as you should go ahead and conduct it. So let the case study methodology, what we are using in our institution, many of the these schools are using, as now the India is on the verge of starting with the NEP. At this point in time, a small contribution to the society, small contribution to the teaching fraternity, small contribution to this part of the students of the North Karnataka. Let us begin somewhere so that it can go a long way. The different institutions, different organizations may take up to the next level. Somewhere this kind of teaching methodology should be initiated, should be started in all the organizations. That is how with this thought we have organized this in a very humble way. So I hope definitely this is going to be helpful for all of you for participating in this event for the day. And in the days to come, let us look forward many more such event, academic exercises, because as you all are aware, the learning is a never-ending process. Till the last moment of our life, we have to keep on learning. So this way, any concerns, queries that you have, if you get back to us, definitely we are there. Together, we can try to sort the issue, and definitely Professor Mukund always is there with us. So anything, if it is not possible from us, if you go to him, always he has a solution for any concern that we have in the field of academics. That way, so he always being proud of this part of the state, and he reached the heights of his professional life by being a professor in the IIM Ahmedabad, and today he is always supportive for us and always there with us. And any this kind of academic exercise, always we can seek his guidance and support. So that is how we can take it to the next level. So and at the end of this program, we would like to have your sincere feedback. So this feedback would definitely help us to improvise ourselves and to develop many more such programs in the days to come. So this, once again, I wish you all the best for today's workshop, as well as a case methodology, the new world of teaching and learning. So that is going to begin for many of you from today. So I wish all the best for that also. And also I congratulate my both the colleagues, Professor Ramakant and Huli, for taking up this initiation, and all my colleagues and students for supporting them day in and out, day out in organizing this event. Thank you, one and all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I'd like to thank Professor Dikshit sir for being there with us and enlightening everyone of us. I would also like to thank our director, Dr. V.M. Purvis sir. I would also like to thank our Director of Academics, Dr. Ramakant sir. I would also like to thank our Professor, Dr. M.V. sir, and all the corporates, lecturers, and research scholars, and even my colleagues. I would like to thank all of you. Now I request all of you to please stand up for us.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाये तव जय गाथा जनगण भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय जय।
Thank you. Before starting the session, we have a small photo shoot session for our. So I request all of you to please gather near the entrance. We have a photo session quickly and come back in 5 minutes. Thank you, Professor Dixit, for your time, and we look forward to your session. Thank you.
Like it's a full mark, you can be on. Ready?
Yes, sir.
One behind the mic or
No.
in front of the mic?
Very much sorry.
Good morning to all of you once again.
Very good morning.
Thanks for your time. And it is a pleasure to share the last 2 years of my learning and my colleagues' learning on this topic of case. And this is what we are here after 2 years of journey in this particular method of learning called case method of learning. So we are here for this, and once again, welcome to. First line is important. Be patient and hustle right through the session. And this is the price you are asking. We are not charging anything as a registration. And then your time is our need. Mobiles are distractors, and with the game we cannot avoid it. Okay? And we are still there with the COVID. Take care of us. This is what we are here for. Case writing for beginners. The first assumption is all of us are beginners. But if somebody is having already gone through, they are with me, that's a bonus for me. When we look at the big picture of case, this is what we have. One, the case teaching, the case writing for which we are here. The next is writing teaching notes to case and publishing the case. So this is a big picture. When we say case, what all we can do? The first one, most of you as teachers are familiar with case teaching. We have the cases listed at the end of the chapters, standalone cases, our own written cases. We speak to our class, talk to our students, teach them to the case. The second is what we are here for, the case writing. That is not just the complete picture. Once we become a case writer, we will go for next two, that is the writing teaching notes and the publication. Our focus here is only this, case writing for beginners. The registrations which you have received, our participants have given different expectations. Some people say, I want teaching notes, then case method of teaching, all that is acceptable. But then the title itself says case writing for beginners. So, though we touch upon here there the other areas, but the entire focus is going to be on the part of case writing. What are the takeaways that we are looking for from this particular next few hours of our engagement is this? That first is orient the participant to case writing. It's an orientation technique. After that, we look at the second one, which is create excitement that I should also write a case. I will gone through and help case writing. We don't want to stop here. Those who want to collaborate with us, want to seek our assistance, we will try and help the case writing journey as we got it from Dr. Dixit the last 2 years. So just pass it on our learning, our experiences, help our participants to start writing the cases and pitch in where they have some assistance necessary, handholding necessary, so that they also become a part of this club and enjoy that case writers kind of a experience. So let's begin. This is the coverage what we would like to have. One is about why we should write cases, followed that by some essentials of case writing, which is a systematic process. The concept of cash, Professor Dixit was talking about. We'll talk about what that case stands for instead of C. The why and how and what of case possibility point. CPP is a case possibility point. That means how the case has to be carved out from a situation which is around us, or in industry or in organization. Then the structure, how the case is to be put in a paper form when we complete our exercise. Our case writing journey, the cases which two of us have written, some ideas we would like to share, and then your plans you would like to share with us. Definitely, yes, your learning from this is what we are trying to have this, and of course, the open arms later. So this is what is the entire index, if you have to say, on case writing of this particular workshop. This is what Professor Dixit was telling, that we are in a year where this product for case has lived a life of continuance. The first of the cases is a shoe company, and it is still available on the website. You say general shoe company, you get the case. This one page case, it is still there. And the process itself was institutionalized as a case method of learning in 1922, and we are in 100th year of this particular method of learning through cases. Beyond this, what happens? 550 cases the student goes through in a school like Harvard University. So when a student is learning or going through the process of management learning, he or she is exposed to about 550 cases. Every year in that school, some 225 cases are written by faculty, and each of the case takes about 160 hours of time of a case writer. This is the magnanimity or the efforts which is going on in the case writing area. Then it's a revenue generating exercise. That particular school generates about this much of revenue. 15.4 million cases have been sold by Harvard Business School and have generated about $59 million in the financial year 21. So this is the kind of revenue generating opportunity also available if the institutions can have that kind of cases and make it available at cost. Even Indian schools are now given. People are writing cases in Indian schools. We are teaching cases in Indian schools, and institutions like IIMs, they are selling the cases. They are called case center. When you log into IIM Ahmedabad website, in case center, you log in, you register whole lot of cases which the faculty have written. It is available in their website, and they are available for sale. If you type one to cases for a price of 150 or 200. Point is, it is available for sale. So when an institution becomes that much to the extent of selling case, it's a revenue generating area for the issue. So let's start this exercise with this background. Now here's a small situation. Let's meet this person who is a proprietor of Greenwell Estate. So why we should meet him? This is what he has. In 2019, December, he incurred a loss of 2.5 lakh rupees. And this was from a profit situation of 1.20 lakhs just a year before. The company's capacity year before, he had hit 85%. And a year later, in 2019 December, he had decreased, which brought him down to just 50% of capacity utilization. Now, why? Why this happened? And how this happened? These are the questions we are trying to look at to set the tone for our discussion. And these two questions will be provide answers. We are going to see the answers and try to generate some answers from all of us. Anyone can throw some light. Not necessarily answer is right or wrong. Not necessarily right or it should be the answer. There is a requirement of answer. Why this person suffered a loss. Why the capacity is not? This is just a carved out situation from big piece. Two and a half lakh loss from a situation of 1.20 profit. 85% capacity utilization just the previous year, down to 50%. Do you have any maintenance breakdown and do you have a machine breakdown possible? Employees have left, machinery breakdown. Any random ideas? We are not here for what is known as this is the answer. I know the answer. This is what is
Here lost customers.
here lost customers. So customer loss, maintenance problem, breakdown. You are not able to get raw material.
Competition,
Indeed, competition.
technical change.
Technical
Shift or change.
technical shift. Product
Outdated.
outdated. Yes, product has gone. We still continue to have the same kind of product. In matter of 1 year, 1 year. Okay. More able to people with the market. And likewise.
The pricing was because just 35% drop should not result in so much of loss. Probably pricing may also be one of the.
So these are the reflections we have. Which means earlier something went right, next year something went wrong, or something went wrong in the earlier year itself. That is the result of the wrong being continued, or something was trying to make it right, which did not work. So these are the possibilities that emerge, and therefore the question is, in this situation, what kind of actions you can take? So in this situation, what kind of action person like Somi should take? That's the question we end up with this kind of reflections what we have. Therefore, what has happened? The knowledge which you have, the classroom knowledge, competition hits your market, machinery breakdown hits your production, the customer changes and preferences have an impact on your product. So these are knowledge which you are gained, we are trying to apply here. So the progression from this, that is gaining knowledge to application of knowledge, is what is happening in this situation. From the small context which you are providing. So what is this exercise which is done for you and me or other participant? We have become Shankarlal Swami. We have become Shankarlal Swami. If I say, if I am Shankarlal Swami, this is what I would have done. Breakdowns, I will try to bring down, or because the breakdown has happened, and therefore it has hit me. Competition has come, therefore I have suffered a loss. Something. Otherwise, the one more role what you have taken is Shankarlal Swami, you do this. You have not done this, therefore it has happened. I am a consultant. I am an outsider. I am trying to tell him, because of these two, three things, when I studied your organization, is the result of these actions which are taken or these actions which are not taken. Actions taken or not taken. So we have assumed one or the other role. And this is what is the gaining knowledge to the application of knowledge, and therefore it has acted as an enabler. What is enabler? I am an enabler of trying to bring that to the learning. And this learning is for what? Once again, you go back to our guest who was talking about this. It is CSH or KSH. If the K is what we are looking for, the C is given to others. So let's look at that K or KSH. The K stands for knowledge. This knowledge could be contextual in the context of that situation. This could be conceptual. Competition and market concepts. Maintenance, production concept. For this knowledge could be related to competition. I calculated this. My loss has come, my financial management, my numbers have not given me, my numbers have proved something. So it can explain. So this is the knowledge which is the first part. The A is attitude. We develop attitudes which will be positive. Central also means yes, this is how he is, therefore he is a. So he did very thing. He is a very positive person. He took risk which did not work for him. So second is attitude and the skills. Importantly, as Shankar also means what are we doing? We are taking decisions. It's a decision making. And the decision extended further. It could be monitoring, control, and learning, helping in learning. So this is key. Now when we give the responses, what are we? We are learning. That learning which is happening. And next it is the continuity. I keep on doing it becomes my habit. So KASS stands for knowledge. The second one is the attitude. The third one is the skill. And H is the habit. It becomes a habit. And this habit is formed. Now this cash can come from both the sides. I as a teacher and the student as a learner. What is there for me as a teacher? It can have two things. What is there for the students? It can have something. Maybe from students' point of view, the knowledge of decision making or the knowledge that decisions have to be taken, and then we should develop the skill of taking decisions. The attitude becomes if I participate in decision making, I develop the skills. I learn the concepts. I learn the competition. So cases few these things, and therefore development of skills and knowledge linking with the attitudes and it becoming a perpetual habits is what is this cash, and cash is there for all of us to take. Therefore, as they say, it's an active involvement. In lecture method, I come, I speak, I go. My audience is listening. But here, it's not the listening that happens, it is the active learning which happens. I ask the question, the student responds. The student responds, I analyze and give it back. So it's a case of active learning in a real life situation. So many situations, real life. Real life situations keep on happening around us. They keep on happening. So what are we trying to do? We are here for the active self-involvement in real life situation for the reason of gaining cash, that is knowledge, attitude, skill, and attitude. So case method essentially has three flavors. One is the active involvement, active self-involvement. I as a teacher and the participants or the students as they are the part. They also have to involve. So active self-involvement with the situation which has happened could be happening. And the outcome of that has to be cash. Knowledge, attitude, skills, and the habits. Therefore, the case method requires for the teacher to have this kind of involved. They call demand in teachers. The first one demand says the preparation. It's intense preparation which should happen in teaching. Preparation on case. And the question that comes is, when does the preparation start? In fact, in the one of the workshops, Professor Dixit said the preparation of case starts the moment the course is allotted to you. Suppose this semester I am taking marketing management. Your preparation case start. That means you must pick up the case which is so relevant for a given topic. Let's say market segmentation, which is the case that is fitted, can fit. And how can I bring out that concept of how to segment the market? How to segment the market? So We have those kind of things. And the point is, the preparation is self-preparation. It's a case of interaction with my colleagues. Okay, I want to take this case. What do you suggest for me? Do you feel that this case will fit? Or if you're taught, what are your experiences? Has that worked for you? Will it work for me? This is my style of working. Will it work for me? So these interactions with colleagues and other helpfuls, that helps for another requirement of demands on the teaching. It's also about whenever I take cases, I reflect on that. Okay, I finished my class on a given case. How did the class go? I intended this. I wanted this to happen. Did it happen? If it happened, why it happened? If it did not happen, why it did not happen? Where did I go wrong, or where did my class get deviated? So point here is self-reflection, and that comes in our teaching notes. I'll again talk on that. Whenever a case is dealt, the best habit or the best practice a teacher can follow after the class, go back, write the class teaching experience. The class teaching experience. And to follow this, next time you visit this, you have your own experiences behind, you learn from that. Okay, I raised this point in class, the class got deviated, the place went for a toss. So how do I avoid that? Because my learning objective here was to bring this point out, relate to this concept, and tell the people that this is a sequence of the handling which will lead you to meeting the learning objective. So this self-reflections is important as much as students' reflection, what they got out of this, what they would have done, and what they wish they could have, did they get it. So reflection happens on both sides, and the fusion of that can help improve the case teaching next year. Last. One more. Next. One more. One. Hint. Yeah. Cross-fertilization. Ideas received from different teachers, students, whether there can be a new possibility of taking some perception, taking some different situation. So cross-fertilization of the ideas, the processes, the opportunities for breakthroughs. So all these are the what are the requirements of this. When I start dealing with case, this is what takes me to my preparation, my reflection, my students' reflection, cross-fertilization of ideas, then the interaction. All this. And then the case becomes what is known as the discussion. Therefore, those of you are interested in definition also, this is what can be the definition. Case is an instrument to facilitate involvement. It's a facilitation to involvement of learners and instructors. It's a description of real life decision. It's not fictitious. Something has happened, something is happening, and what the executive has taken a decision. And we are here with our corporates. They know every situation for them is a decision-making situation. Every situation. If the employee is not come, what do I do? If a new sudden rush of orders has come, what do I do? If the machine has break down, what do I do? If electricity fails, how do I help my customers? Because I'm in hospitality. Even they have share with us. What happened? Therefore, what he has done, he has kept backup for everything. He has taken a decision. But if I don't keep a backup, what will happen? Then what are my other options? Decision. Yeah, both the things failed. Backup also failed and the main also failed. He has faced the situation. And he said, because both the situation failed, I had my third options also ready. My option third would be, I went to the customer and said, sorry, this is what has happened, please cooperate. No, please wait, I'll get something. That's it. Banker, sanctioned loan. Loan became NPA. He knew it is a good loan, it's become NPA. What do I do now? Do I recover? Go file a case? So it's a case of real life. Mixed. Real life situation demanding, that means requiring making a situation demanding involvement of students in a role or set of roles. Okay, this is what Himal Desai had done. This is what Prashant Naik has done. This is what Shweta has done. This is what Prakash has done. Okay, then whose role you want to take? You want to become Himal Desai or you want to become Prakash, Shweta or Prashant? Or take a consultant student. Do you want to play from the gallery or do you want to be in the court? Which role you want to be? It could be one, it could be nothing. So when it happens in class, we find the roles. Somebody is speaking as Shankalal Soni, or somebody is speaking as, oh, he should have done, she should have done. You are taking a role. So it's a case of involvement of students in a role or set of roles. The small situation when we said we had this rule, right? Therefore, case brings field to the class. So what a case does? The case brings field to the class. Now what a field has been brought? Somewhere somebody by name Shankalal Soni who suffered a loss. We don't even know who that person is, but then we brought him to the class. So the case as a method has this flavor that it brings field to the class. We have brought this field to the class. Any cases that we deal is a real life situation happened, documented, and a discussion created, and that discussion nothing but this is what happened there, and this should have done, or I should do this, or I will be doing this. Therefore, the result will be possibly this. So it's a case of the field coming to the class instead of class going to the field. How many times I as a teacher can take the batch of 60 or 120 students to Mayuraditya or to any bank or to any company? Once, twice, thrice. And so, okay, this is how it is happening. Every time it's not possible. The other way then, can I bring it to the class? Yes, you can bring it to the class. Through the method of case. So the case, what it does, it brings field to the class and facilitates the learning for cash. Now, the field to the class in what way? One method is, I call Himal Desai, Prashant, Shweta, or Prakash, come please speak to my students, which we many times do. But they come in a year once, twice. They are their commitments. So one method of bringing is, we bring them to the class and say, please share. But the point is, last time what you shared, the same situation if he shares now will be consistent. Will it be the same? Because filters happen. And then the question is consistency, scheduling, time. So he said, Monday morning, 9 o'clock, I'll come. Suddenly, some emergency develops. Say, please postpone, I'll come next. Scheduling. I'll come only at 2 o'clock. My class is get affected. So whether I sacrifice my class or give time to him. Scheduling. For him also, okay, at 2 o'clock, I have some commitments, how do I reschedule it? So scheduling of time on both sides. These issues proper when we have this practice of bringing people to the class. So method is, yes, you can bring people to the class, but it is not something which will happen regularly. It will not something happen as and when I require, because we have to match the requirement of this. And that is why the question of bringing people, if somebody is coming from Delhi, am I able to afford the person? And let me tell you, the session which we are doing here, if you go officially to any of these best schools in country abroad, this is 5 lakh word session. 5 lakh word. 4 hour session, if you talk to IIM officially, they say, yes, we will have it 4 years, 5 lakhs is your fees. So can FD school afford this? The question is money also. So therefore, the issues that come is consistency, scheduling, limitation of time, money, then something else. So that is why then the question therefore what we do is next. This is what the case of.
So this is therefore in some kind of form and detail the whole Gandhi episode that happened to Nestle in 2015, and on a more philosophical note, I think
Here is this video is not finished, but it's a recorded lecture. Nestle India Chief Executive Suresh. He is speaking to a set of students in Ahmedabad, 1 hour 50 minutes lecture. It's available. He is narrating the story how did Nestle come back from that Maggie episode. And the title is Leadership in the Situation of Crisis. So he narrated the story. This is what is the executive coming to the class. And as I said, we invite all the staffers to our places, so we are all familiar with this situation. And therefore, the other choice for all of us is this. A representative of a learner goes to the field and does what? Reflect, collects information, gets the clearance to use it in the class and makes it available to the students and the teachers. I bring the people to the class, I go to the field. So who is there? I am a representative. I am a representative of the learners. So as a case teacher, I am a representative. Whom I am representing? I am representing the learners here, my students. And what I do? I go to the field, talk to the people, collect the information, come back and make it available in the class for the learners. But then these things have to face as a representative. First of the things is, why should I go to the field? Why should I go to the field? First. Second would be, where should I go? Should I go to bank? Should I go to hospitality? Should I go to hospital? Should I go to any other organization, profit, non-profit? Where do I go? Is that choice? What is the motivation of executive? Why he should give me the information? I go and sit before bank manager, said, I am writing a case, can you give me this? What should I give? Why should I give? I am interested, but other party is not interested. So the person who is giving information, what is that he has? His motivation. It could be, how will the representative enter the field? How do I go? Should I go with a contract? Or should I go with no prior contact and say, this is what I am representing this B school, this is my interest, can you help me? So everywhere these questions I need to answer, and what type of information I will be collecting. Should the people part with the information? It's also the case of how will the representative prepare the case for using class? Yes, information is collected. How do I convert it into this? So these demands make us what is known as my role as a representative and my issues in this. So the case is here, why I should go. Perhaps the answer says is my personal curiosity. I want to become a case writer. My personal curiosity is one reason perhaps. To build a new capability and my career advancement, case writing builds a capability. The capabilities are multiples, multiple capabilities. And what are those capabilities? We come in due course of time. Need my course. Yeah, this is my course. It's a new course. I want case. So I don't have case. Therefore, it's a compulsion on me to develop the case. For instance, we have a course called compensation management. We search cases and cases. I can't find the one. Then what did I do? I wrote my own case. Out of my experience, I wrote a case which I'll share during the course of the presentation, and this has become my record. So I have fulfilled my record. So it could be the need of the course, the new course has come, there are no cases available. So to develop that, I will write a case. Need for the institution ranking, all of us are going to NAC and NBA. Is how many cases you have written? Whether the institution has any cases to their credit to fulfill that institution requirement. So it could be need for the institution itself. And then feel nice that I also have written case, Mukund also written case, Harvard Division also written case, so my image. And therefore, we need to look at the situation where how is that an academician is different from a layman. Because situations happen around everybody. But how does a layman look at a situation and how an academician could look at a situation? So that is why all of us are gifted with all those gifts. See, read, understand. So layman is gifted with the same 2 eyes, 2 ears, ability to listen, read. Academician is also gifted, but we are specially. We are specially. So we have that multiple internal eyes. Multiple internal eyes. Antaschakshu is what is the term. Then multiple internal ears. So many things happen. I listen to so many different things. So this is the difference. When can a layman take a situation when he faces, and when can an academician take a situation when the academician faces the situation? So here's a case. The layman says, okay, this is what I saw, understood, appreciated, criticized, and said, enough. But the academician thinks where the field could be taken. Where the field could be taken. What the options are, I can take the field to the class, MBA, BBA, and say, I can create a case out of it. That means I make my own slices of situation, create a case out of it, and bring it to class for teaching. Other option is I make a paper out of it, research paper, take it to the conference, put my own analysis, put my own references, put my own situations, and say, okay, I am presenting paper in conference. Put it in library. My library is there. Anytime I can use it. Right now, let me put it in that. It could be for PhD. There are doctoral students here, PhD. Creating knowledge from knowledge. So for me as an academician, these are the options. So the field can open up these various roles for me. I can create a case, it can be a BB class. I can take it to the conference as a research paper. I can just create a bank and keep it in my library. I can teach in the doctoral class. The question therefore is, the choice is given to me now. And therefore, you are a case writer now. With this pen, you are a case writer. You know the field, you know where you can take, now you are a case writer. Therefore, you see and hear possibilities of linking the field development to the class. So as a case writer, my responsibility, how do I link that situation to my class, and class can go back to field. So you are reached the first milestone in this exercise of case writing. Recognizing and articulating case writing possibilities. Recognizing and articulating the case possibilities, that is writing case possible. And therefore, the next is, how do I create that case possibility? How do I take CPP, case possibility? A development in real world with a possibility of promoting and realizing the learning objective in educational context. On the one side, learning and educational context, if I can bring, the case can be brought. If one of the two is missing, maybe it's a story, it's a narration. So for me as a case writer, it is a case of what is the learning objective I want to draw out of it, and in which educational context I can take it. For instance, let's look at this. It's a small event which, or a small situation, just a few days back, I encountered. There's a small darshini in an area where I stay. One of the times, it so happened that I ordered 2 items and I paid for 2 items. But in a hurry, the 2 packets which I given, I picked just 1 packet and left. I had paid for 2, I picked up 1. After 15 days, when I went there, the first thing I said, last time we left this item, you paid for it. This time, I will not charge you full for the present item. Please take this for the lesser item. The total bill is 100 rupees. I charge you 75. Layman, thank you so much. Then academician, open up. What is that gesture for me as an academician? Where do I take this gesture to my class? Business ethics, customer loyalty, customer relationship management. Where do I take? So here is a case of situation the same. Darshini, I am a regular visitor. He charged me for the item. 1 item I failed to take it. Next time, before I could ask, before I could order something, he said, last time this is what has happened, so you will not pay for it. He told, please don't take this much money. Take this. Layman would pick up and say, thank you so much. Sincere person, appreciate. As an academician, it opens up my eyes. Is it a case for how ethics is being practiced in business? How customer loyalties are generated out of this? What are customer relationship management that we have in this situation? Case possibility is generated. So when the situation is the same, from where do I see the situation? It opens up the cases for. I may bring that into class and say, when I'm teaching business ethics, okay, this is an example, yes, this is the case. Now, should this person give these kind of things to practice ethics? Or it's okay. Keep quiet because he has forgotten, I have forgotten. Keep quiet. But the customer relationship practices somebody can practice, whether this practice is good enough. So this is what it opens up, what is known as, from one small example, and in and around us, so many examples keep on happening. That's what we say. Situations keep on happening around us. We should have that multiple eyes and ears to look at. Question is, why development is happening? Development is there, but why did it happen? One of the reasons is they keep happening. For the reason that some actions are taken, not actions taken did not yield result, or they did result. So situations keep on happening in the field in and around us. So we cannot stop them. So situations or developments keep on happening going to the consequences of decisions taken or not. Decisions taken or not taken, and therefore action initiated or not initiated. So situations do arise. In the previous case of Shankar also, the profit came down because of business. And therefore, the next logical step is how do I track them? How do I track the development? One instance I said, I track the development like this. One is I involve myself. In that case, I involve myself. It could be media. So many things come in media. I just look at it. Tata is having taken over airlines, Air India. media report has come. Now, how do I convert that into a case for my case? So much of information has come. Now, can I create a case? Through media, I can draw those points. It could be a case of my conversation with people around. Okay, this is what is happening, this is what has happened. And immediately it opens up something for me. Okay, is there a point, is there a case in that? So that is one area. I make a visit to the field, I do my research, I do collect information, I generate the information and bring out the case. So formal, informal interaction with friends, corporate participants, it could be any combination. The point is where the information stored, if you can tap it, you can generate the case out of it is the source. That is why how to track the development in real world, these are some of the possible things. This helps for building the case possibility map. As I said, a small gesture of a nursery owner, it could open 3 cases or 3 areas or multiple areas. So what I do, I create a case possibility bank. Okay, I can write 1, 2, 3 case, single case, multiple case. We have, when Professor William shared that a single research of last 2 years, 6 cases when they are generated, that means 6 possible banks were created by him. So a situation can develop one or single or multiple possibility banks. So these possibility banks is one possibility. Therefore, case possibility bank, if you have to write a small equation, is keeping touch with the real world and linking it to educational context. Keeping in touch with real world development, the Shri owner giving the immediate response to my earlier behavior, deducting the money, development. Where did I link? Educational context. Yeah, I have brought it to the class. So case possibility bank is the result of keeping in touch with the real world and linking it to educational context is what the idea of tracking the real world development to lead to cases. And therefore, we should take the case possibility point forward. Take it next. You identify it. What happens is, therefore, I need to commit myself. Yes, I have seen the nursery owner, his interaction, my response. What do? Shall I keep quiet? Nobody's question. You want to go ahead? Then you need time. So to commit your time. That's what we said in the initial 160 hours of faculty spends on writing the case. Time. It could be what are my learnings, knowledge, attitude, skills. What is it I'm going to generate out of this? I need money to travel, to go, collect information, the investment, money investment. I need my contacts. Then these things become possible. So CPP, when you take further, you have to think, am I able to give these things? Do I have time? Do I have money? Do I have the contacts? And what is that I want to draw out of this? So where to use the resources there? All these resources are where do I use them? Possibly my resources I can put it on the significance of learning physics course. Only if there is significance of learning pursue. Otherwise, your investment may not be the result. It could be availability of information, both qualitative and quantitative. Yes. Only if I know that this person has given me discount and all, but there is nothing further coming out of that, then there is no point in question. He says, okay, this is what happens. Then I am stuck. So therefore, the initial our own planning in terms of availability of information, both quantitative and qualitative, and the resources which are available. If you are there, it's better to pursue those CPTs. Comfort level of writer, most important. Comfort level of writer is, okay, I want to see that tertiary, but I don't like the smell of the labels which are being cooked. If I'm writing a case on, let us say, a non-veg item, and I don't stand to that. If I'm writing a case in a hospital operation, but I don't see the comfortable when the blood and the screaming happens around. The pain which goes for the patients, I am not comfortable. That means even if you have interest, even if all the resources, but your comfort level may not be there. Therefore, it's better don't pursue. But your colleague can pursue. If I am comfortable, I can pursue. If I'm not able to speak to a villager in a language that he or she speaks, then my interest in that particular case, though it is there, I'm not going to proceed. Therefore, when he went to the field, meet the farmers, he did not wear the coat, he wear the dhoti. He put on dhoti and the attire which is comfortable for him to be received by the audience. So comfort level of the writer is most important because you are going to spend the time. You are going to write, you are going to collect information, and this is not just once. I today morning I got evening I come everything up. No. Again and again, you may have to go until you are satisfied. Okay, this information, this data received by me is good enough for me to come up with a case. So therefore, the comfort level is important and organization to permit. As I said, why executive should accept the this argument? Yes, your proposal is fine, everything is good. But then we have a policy we cannot divulge into. So suppose, as a policy, we cannot give financial information to or balance sheet in per year. That is the only thing I can do because published. But any other information, no, we can't. We are not supposed to. So you are stuck by information. So the question is permission from the organization to give information and deal with the case in class. This is not just information being permitted. They should tell you, okay, you can use this information. Then alone our resources are better applied. Otherwise, they say, no, you take it, no, discuss it. It remains with me, but that's not the purpose of mine being the case writer. My information, when I convert it into instrument, it is meant for the learners. And therefore, there are ways of looking at it when we come to those things. Maybe I do the information, how you differently represent. If that is the case, please come. For instance, therefore, in papers we say, names are changed. Instead of writing Ramakant, we say Ramesh. What is this? Organization should permit that. Both the sides. You take the name, but don't use my name. Check it. So many times in some of these cases which you see or news items, you say, Ramesh has this much of income, he wants to invest in this class of assets, please advise him how he should do. He has 2 kids, so many information. But that Ramesh is a fictitious name, that Ramesh is somebody else, because Ramesh does not want to reveal his or her identity. There is the permission for organization to give information, and that permission further to deal in class. That is, I should be permitted to be, otherwise your case is incomplete. It remains with you, but then that is not the purpose of the case. Then how to do the field work? We'll have to hear or not break. Okay. So far so good. I was working sitting on my table, but then when I go to the field, we have other requirements. And first is develop the competency. One of the competencies said when he visited the agriculture field, the way he dressed, we have to have a competency. Not just the entire kind of competency, but then how to talk to people. What information should ask, which question should ask, when to answer this question. The talking skill, the communication skill, the writing skills, noting skills. So develop competencies for that. Visit the field and document the data faithfully and objectively. That second word is very, very important. Faithfully, whatever the person is saying, please take it. Don't have your own thinking. Is it okay, not okay? No, faithfully. Okay, I stayed throughout night. Do you really stay? Don't doubt the person's whatever he or she said. Faithfully. Objectively, don't add anything of yours. Don't add anything. He stayed overnight and therefore he must be feeling drowsy. Did he or did he not? It's his choice. But let me not add anything of my thinking. Okay, he must be feeling drowsy. He may not be feeling drowsy. He may be feeling, but still is good for that. So for me, is faithfully and objectively document. And that documentation is important because the moment you make the document, your memory stress is relieved. Your memory stress is relieved. So therefore, one of the requirements for the case letter is when we make a field visit, the next immediate task is writing. Write it down. Or today, the recording is possible. Record. Permitted, provided by the people who are giving. When entry is happening, we say, please don't record. But I am not supposed to. Because I am violating the law. He said, okay, fine, you can permit that. Maybe that is easier for me because I can go back, listen again and again, take this. So therefore, it's a faithfully and objectively drawn documentation that we need to do. Then help the bring to the class. Then again, we come back to the class. Remember that the class is something which is our personal. Be serious because you are a representative of the learner. While you are taking information, I think we should be serious. We should be serious. Because whatever I do, I bring it to the class. And therefore, the better I do, the better I bring it to the class. My output is better only if my work is good. Otherwise, if there is a distortion in that, maybe my learning objective will get divided. They will not meet the purpose. And that is why the field work can have some of these requirements. Therefore, the case has an ecosystem, that is all the enablers which are to be. And ecosystem consists of all these people. One is I am the case writer, case providers, the people to whom we go, they are the case providers. The organizations where I go, the media reports to which I rely on, they are the case providers. We need editor because when I write, I may edit myself or I may give to somebody who is competent enough to edit it. So case editor. Because again and again when we keep on writing, many times the small errors do not come to my notice that easily. And because we check it out multiple times, we say, okay, this I have taken case, I have taken case. That is one is case editor review. I give it to the reviewer. Okay, please take it. This is what I have got review. They will say, no, this is not correct, this sequence is not correct, please do this, please do this. These are requirements because your product has to be good. So the case reviewer is another participant in the ecosystem. The people who participate, the students and the information providers, others, they are part of this. The publishers and distributors, because they publish your cases when you take it, they are also part of the ecosystem. And the person in a bigger organization, the administrator has to facilitate your interview, make your travel, provide you the permissions for travel, your travel bill, all those technical requirements are there. Maybe your office can take care, and the administrator's role in this, and then the teacher and research. Basic information. So all these people, they form the part of the total case ecosystem. So for a good case, these people come in one form or other. Not necessarily that every time everybody will come. Maybe I himself will become an administrator for me. Because I don't rely on that, I do it for myself. But then you are doing the whole. The person may not be there, the whole is there. Therefore, the case writing proposal, like your research proposal, also is a need of cases. When you write a case research proposal, we have some methodology. So, similar case possibility, that is case writing proposal, what will you call it? The real world case possibility point you have to identify using the real world development. Then learning objectives, what you want to link to that. Because this has to be clear by your own organization, like education institution, the director or the decision maker. You have to make a case for yourself that, oh, I want to do this with this idea in mind, this clear. Then the director will say, please go ahead. But don't go ahead right now. You are tied up with something. So therefore, the proposer has to have the case possibility point. Then the methodology. What methodology I am going to use? Am I going to telephone interview? I am going to field interview? Am I going to call the person here? Or am I going to send representative there? In one of the cases, what we did, we had to do a survey of agriculture prices. Then he involved some 10 students. He said there is a question. So his methodology was the survey should be done by the student and we rely. Then the money that is required, the people that are required, the material that is required, all this makes the case proposal. So this can give you the confidence that to you and the organization that is a big school, yes, this is something which you can cover. How will you get the resources? Your budget, your confirmation, your requirement. So these are the cases where you have to have the proposal. Next. After that, submit your proposal. Get the clearances, both internal, external. Internal clearance for our own administrators, our own directors, and the organization, which is okay, fine. I permit you to take the case further, which you coming to me, talking to me, I am going to spare my time, all this, and obtain resources from all these cases, the time, funds, research society, infrastructure, and get started. Once you get started, you have to go be in the field, actually in the field. You have to be in the field. Initial interaction and credibility building. First time is always a difficult thing. Even if the person is known to me, just build a credibility. Yes, this is what you are providing, this is for good, this is for this is I am using. The credibility part is important because you have to go back again. You have to go back again. So build a credibility, then data collection can have different methods, questionnaire method, interview method, discussion method, data collection methods, okay? Then data validation, most important. When I collect the data and I write it down, what I heard and what is said, there can be gap. So go back again to the person who has given the information and say, this is what I have understood, is it correct? Is it correct? Or is there any filtration that I want? Or do you want to change it? To bring out the things in the right perspective. So validation is important. Only when it's validated, that means the information you wanted, information which was to be received from the giver is matching. This is field work. Another is, if you want to rely on second resources, visit the library, visit the resources, take it from there, published information. Published information available to you, you can use it. But then when you are taking primary information, primary data collection, what we say, these are some requirements we need to have. Therefore, check, cross-check, confirm, all these things are necessary in this process. Get going, record your information, validate it, bring it, make a field note. One is recording, one is writing. Field note says, check, cross-check, any other information you have received from someone, so make a note of it. And get the complete story in place. Get complete story. Once the complete story is available, that means you are done with your information. And then comes the where do I start putting the barriers in terms of the water flow. So that is the case possibility point for doing something. That is a question answer session, what we say, or response. So here is one example of slicing the stone. This is a case that I was referring to in my earlier discussion. This is the company where I worked for a long time. Especially Industrial Limited, which is not there today, which is not there. Last 20 years, the company is not in existence. But then, when I was there, there was a situation. And this situation developed that in 1990s, we received a big order from Russia. And we were the exporters of glass, but Russian market was something which I never entered. In 1990, we received a very big order from Russia, and then 100 lakhs, 1 crore order, a single book was something rare. Order was received, 6 months time was given, and the time was met. Then after that, what happened? First time, big order, celebration, the management decided, can we reward the people for this? So that's the situation. And therefore, what developed was, what kind of rewards we should give, to whom we should give, when we should give. So then the question came in, should MKL celebrate success? If the answer is yes, then the next question is, how should it celebrate? Maybe very well. What kind of reward? They said incentive payment. Then how much incentive? 1 month basic salary equivalent. And it stuck where? To whom we should give? To whom we should give? Because this order was serviced by head office service. And we had 3 offices, one at 20, one at 7. All in all, there were 4,000 people. The question came, whom we should give? Now, that's the situation. Now, this situation, when we slice it, this is a story. Now, where do I end the story? Now, I have all the 4 cases where I can end the story. I can create a decision point. The first decision point is, should MKL celebrate? Yes, no. If yes, why? If no, why? Case is there. Yes, celebrate. Then the next question is, how? Monetary, non-monetary. Appreciation, certificate, party. Anything? Second decision point, I can end it. The third, what reward? Incentive. Yes. Then next, how much? So we ended the case at the last point, should, to whom all this can be given. So you have case here at least 2 or 3 intervals. The first interval is that, should they celebrate it all? If yes, how? One more interval. Third, incentive payment, how much? One more interval, and finally, it could be to whom all. So the case has come here at different intervals. When you want to end, you can take it home. And the case like that. If there's enough information for MK to celebrate yes, no, you may end there. You may go further if some more information is. So this is one example which I put in, because when we collect information, we are sitting on a mind. Where do I use that mind for what? At what intervals I can cut and bring a case from it. In fact, the cases which Professor Uri has written is a huge exercise still going on. For last 4 years is working. When I presented this entire mind for case writing, there is 6 possible intervals are there. 6 possible intervals. The stream is the same, but 6 possible dams can be built. And that is how 6 cases have come. In this, a single stream we ended here is booking. So which slides to choose? That's what we were discussing. At what point we pick and say, okay, let me stop here and I can go back. I can go back. So I said, to whom all incentive should get? From there I went back and say, because of all this, who should be the recipient of this reward? Therefore, the point is, the protagonist in a case, we say, who is a decision maker? Decision maker is the protagonist. Can we identify the decision maker? So the moment you identify decision maker, maybe there's a point where the case can emerge. Then can the dilemma of the protagonist identified? Yes. Yes, no. Should we give? Should we not give? Should I not take? So dilemma should be, can our information provide complete information? Because finally what we are discussing in class is based on information. Today I discuss this based on information share, but I cannot go back to the company and say, these are what right based on information. So are you able to see therefore link between the slice and the class? How do I establish that link? If I see the link, the case can emerge. additional information, if necessary, should be taken. Then that information will provide what is known as thinking possibility, decision making possibility, thinking, whatever I can think. If there is thinking possibility, the case becomes interesting in class, worthy of a context of education, and develop a complete visual. Because as a teacher, if I develop this might happen, this might go wrong, this might come through, that visual will help me to building proper draft. And therefore, we get down to the drafting of this. Therefore, as I said, the case has a structure. And the case can be structured in these 3 or 4 different areas. So first we say invitation. What is invitation? When I open the case and give the first paragraph should say what this case has some decision issue in it. That's called invitation stage. This is the situation being faced by this person, therefore the person is now in a position to proceed or not proceed. Then once the decision, what is that is bothering him and how he has come to that? Something called illumination. I go on giving information. Give information. History of the company, the people involved, why this situation arises, what all that has contributed to the situation. I give as much possible as information I can relevant to that decision. That's why I say we should slice, we should remove the information not required, which is required that has to be found out and given. And finally, I bring it back to the decision which is required. I start with invitation, I develop my case, connect it to the decision point, and they say if there's any additional information necessary, can I put it in appendices or elaboration? Okay, table number 1 gives the financial information of this particular type. The technical notes on particular. What is machine tool? Technical note. What is a foundry? Technical note. Because that is required. If I don't understand what is machine tool or foundry, my entire thing, 20 machines were supplied. Machine tools, what is machine tools? I don't understand. Maybe the whole interest in the case gets lost because I know it, my participants don't, my students don't. So this requires the aspect of elaboration section. And that is why this is one. Just an example, the same case. Now, how the invitation has been framed. One by time I made so that we get the idea. On January 25th, 1919, Vikram, age 45, managing director of MKM, the 50-year-old machine tool company, manufacturing company in India, met Deshmukh, age 55, vice president finance, Divakar, age 52, vice president HR, and Mukherjee, 49, vice president operation, to decide the extent of incentive to be paid to the staff on being successful in servicing an export order for 20 special purpose machines to Russia. The order, the first of its kind in terms of a single order, earned a revenue of rupees 100 lakhs Indian rupees in one go. The decision on incentive was likely to set the precedence for NPL. Besides the financial implication, it was likely to build higher expectations for incentives with every such big order from Russia. MKL had made a significant entry into the Russian market by participating in tenders floated by Department of Defense, USSR. Each of the 15 tenders was worth 100 lakhs. Mukherjee, educated in US, was experienced in international business. He was equally suited for domestic operations. Next, go back. Go back. This is it. Now, when we slightly analyze this, so many things are clear. One is the situation of incentive payment. Why? Some achievement is happening. What will happen if they pay? It might set a precedence. Then there are orders in pipeline. If the president said every time the expectation should go, and therefore the managing director is now in a position to decide, should I celebrate this by paying money or incentive? And therefore he has called The two connected people, vice president human resource, vice president finance. Human resource because what will happen to this expectation here? Finance because is the money there? Is the money there? Or can I afford this money? Can the company afford this money? Now, the moment you read this one paragraph, now we have clear that when did this situation occur? In 1990. Now, you say, how do you remember this January 25? Now, here as a case writer, you have the liberty of arriving at it. It's not necessarily like, okay, 2050, if I go and say, no, it didn't happen on 20, it happened on 90. No. The idea behind putting it is precise, clear, concrete. Therefore, we say 1990, say 1990 January is right. But then what is happening is, this is a meeting which has happened. He called them and said, okay, this is what is my idea. And this is what is our requirement. And how will you build? If I do this, what will happen? If I do this, what will happen? So this is the illumination phase. Now, illumination phase describes the complete story. The first says, next. History of the organization. In 1946, this company was set up in Haryana. It had a branches in Hubli in 1966 and later support what they were doing. All that we have done. Next. It continues. It had a workforce of 4,000 people employed in Hubli, Sattur and Haryana put together. They are founded division, their machine tool division. All that is one of the best companies in the private sector. They had a good export market in US, UK, all those information. Then this is the export market. Then how much each of the markets should contribute? About 5% of the market, 5% of the exports constituted the total pie of the revenue of the company. How big was the company? All that we have done. Then how the investors are going to happen? Because the whole issue is about USSR first order. Then we said in 1989 MKL received this order. This order had to be executed within 6 months of time. 20 special purpose machines were there, and they had to do this. All that thing we have done. Then the same story continued. The single order of this type was here. It has been executed meticulously, and Harrier was well equipped to handle this. The capacity would be and maybe Sattur was not adequate. Therefore, they took it. Next. And the person in charge of the production, Mukherjee, how qualified he was, what all he did, all that were done. And all this being supported by Hubli and Sattur plants in the processing of order. Next. And after the order was processed, what happened? There was a fiscal atmosphere in the company. First order, 100 lakhs. We achieved sense of satisfaction, which prompted the managing director to think can be removed. And that is why MKL expected regular, consistent orders and all those things. And each one congratulated MKL management thought of rewarding its employees 1 month basic salary if you valentines. And this was first of a such decision. Because there are no earlier precedences like this. There is nothing like order being executed, therefore you get this. So this is not the first of its kind, therefore the dilemma. Next. Then the meeting happened. And what I transferred in the meeting, the managing director said something, the Mukherjee, the vice president of operations said something. Then, next. What is the existing incentive system? There is existing incentive system. We said, if you do this, the points are given. If you achieve the points above that, you are paid for an incentive. So, what is required for the class has been brought here. And the incentive scheme is explained. This is the first point of argument. We opened that everybody should be paid. That opened up the arguments. He argued, though the order was executed earlier, but a good deal of support was received from Hubli and Sattur in providing materials and other supplies promptly, which needed to be considered and included for the review. His argument. What Viceroy HR says? He has his own opinion. This type of reward would set a precedent, and every time such big orders received, the people will have the expectations. He reminded me that such orders from you, sir, that we need pipeline, are you going to do every time? Further, the labor certificate was due. So they will make a point of demand during that time. No, every such order received, you should give, sign the agreement. His argument. And therefore, the existing system anyhow is there. Why you want one more? I will continue. And he said, why Hooghly and Satur after all? What they have done? They have supplied, it's a part of that. And for that, they have been given credit to. There is a transfer pricing concept for. Whatever material issue, I give credit. It is already done, and they have got incentive there. Why we should want to pay? Next. And Vice President Finance, he said, okay, what he says is right. Because as SBA concept, its profitability will go down, the performance will show different picture. And therefore, I am not in support of this. But if you want to give it to only one set of people. And what he says, including all of them would entail machine tool unit of area taking the hit on his SPU profit. He further added that if Vikram was really bent on giving incentive, then operations and material people only give that because they are the contributors. That is the argument. Next. Because you got another. How can we do that? Argument. Next. And he said, all right, please give me the salary details. And that we put it in argumentation, elaboration, and exhibit. And now the integration. So after this, what happened? The case has to be closed to the decision point. He said, all right, I heard all of you. Let's meet again and take a final decision. What decision? To pay or not to pay? To integration. Invitation to integration in between all these eliminations. Elimination has given us complete picture why this situation developed. And that led to decision dilemma for the protagonist. Here is the managing director. He has to take a decision, final signature he has to give, and he is seeking information. And he said, no, anyhow, let's take a decision, we meet again. And this is the salary details exhibit. Machine tools and we all put together the salary is 160 lakhs per month. The basic was the consideration. So what is basic content? 64 lakhs. How much is of value? How much is of degree? How much is close? Now this support information for decision. So all this is what is this linking of that structure to the case which is actually written. Now when this case comes to the class, the discussion starts. Somebody becomes Vice President Finance, somebody becomes HR, somebody becomes Managing Director, somebody becomes Mukherjee. You can have role play. We had a role. Oh, you are assuming the role of Rishma. You argue like a Rishma. You argue like the Vice President HR. You are a Managing Director. Both of us will start talking. How are you going to do this? Discussion starts. Decision making skills start. And you start making this objective too. Learning objective two. Your course may be compensation management. How do you manage the compensation here? And here is the case where should people be compensated for the celebration that is going to happen or give? Because expectation is one part of compensation management. So how do you manage the expectation? So this is how this case is. Therefore, the first paragraph, the invitation paragraph is most important. And one has to be very clear. Now from this, one can get a small idea what that clarity means. Who is the protagonist? Where or she what required to do? When, why, where, how? On 25th of January 1990, he had to take a decision. Why? Because he made export order. How? Pay the incentive. When? Maybe somewhere. How? All those things come out. And back. Very specific. The specificity is seamless. It should be consistent. That means all that linkage has to be linkage. And one point I said is basic, second I said full salary. Inconsistency. So if I say basic, wherever you want to highlight that financial part, say basic. Even if you want to highlight the full salary details, full salary is so much, basic component of that is so much. So that I know if I have to take a decision, what is the financial impact that will come on my account? Otherwise, lack of information becomes the case weak. Next. and objective opinion. Objective. We have not added anything out of this. Though I was a part, I would have added. No, they did like this, they did like this. But objective. This is what has happened. This is how the situation develops. You take a decision. And therefore, the next paragraphs, which are elimination, all those things, which is part of that. Now, one of the tests that we can draw is our drafting skills. The moment you start writing, then all these things keep up. Your grammar, your English, your drafting, which to put when, which color should come first, which color should come last. Because the moment there's a sequential difference, our case could go in any direction. So the drafting part becomes another skill. So if I have to say, what is my test for this? I can say my English has improved, my drafting skills have improved, my connecting skills to my thinking has improved. I am able to visualize and start writing. My knowledge, my skills have improved in terms of drafting. I have become habituated to writing good drafts. And my attitude towards my case building is what? Yes, I can write this. I am positive. So this is my cash. When I start reflecting, if you say, what did you get? Maybe this is my cash. If I ask our students, what did you get? I could get, okay, compensation management can have these implications. What is the knowledge? Okay, the compensation can be structured in different ways. One of the components are ratings. They have this is what is this, and therefore draft is not once written and closed. We need to write until you are satisfied, improve upon it, correct it, and then because they say this lot of things are here, but then from here to here it takes a difficult and different, you can say, body. That's there in my mind, but I can't put it down. I don't get the words, I don't get the sentences. And that is why somewhere some editor is there, some viewer is there. Why you bring them into ecosystem? Is because they say, then we discuss. So this that somebody put in writing say, okay, all right, I'll do. And that's why every book has an editor. They say, I thank all these people because they edited them. They have taken the pains of editing, reviewing. Because it's collaborative. If I'm able to do it, nothing like it. But then that's not the stopping for me. I can derive the ecosystem like this. So drafting, improving, and finalizing, that is what is written. And then comes registration with clearing. If you have a clearing in your organization, it should be registered. Like bigger institution, they register with cases. If your director has to approve that, he should get fine. It's clear, you can get it. If your system has it. If your system has it, please go for it, get it. And therefore, a good case can have these things. And that is complete in all respects, grammatically correct. Check spelling and grammar use appropriate software survey, grammar software, and complete, clear. Then your case is ready. Consistent, connected, and conform. Everything has to be connected. There cannot be something which is unconnected with each other. Therefore, the drafting, redrafting, improvisation, finally closing will all come. References wherever they are necessary. And there is a way they're called American Psychological Association, FDP. They have what is known as the method of how to write references. People who write research papers, they are aware of it. The same thing has to be followed, the APA methods. Cases may have multiple records. I have referred from Harvard article, I have referred from this report, that report, whenever you have report, I do this required. It's always better we give this. Let's celebrate. So this is the all that we are looking at the piece. Thank you so much. Relax for some time. Research, more about research. You want to start, what is going to collect the information? Research. Research is the output of science. There is a research. Research. Research part. But that part is collected in the case. If I proceed with the research. There's no story. That's why actually fighting for the case.
ಆಗಲೇ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು